your thirst beside the river. Wash the journey from your hands. Feel the comfort flow inside you. Come this far, you understand. Fear's not allowed, where dreams can be lost or found.
Hi, welcome to Healing Outside the Box. I'm Rosemary Lachance, and I'm a Reiki energy healer and a spiritual development advisor.
And I'm Traci Crampton, and I'm an energy practitioner.
And we are dedicated to providing you with food for thought information and answers to alternative healing, spiritual development, animal welfare, nutrition, and our environment in the form of guest speakers who are experts in their fields. We hope we can help you find the answers that you are looking for.
And tonight is a big milestone for us. It's our 50th show, so it's our golden anniversary.
Golden anniversary,
and
50.
Usually we have a guest on our show, but tonight we are the guest. We're here to tell you a little bit about what Rosemary and I do, the work that we feel very dedicated to, and that's Reiki energy healing. So tonight's show is to give the viewers a little more information about what is Reiki, and we have a whole lineup of guests with us tonight to tell their stories. So we're very excited.
Yes, we are. So,
yes,
the first question is, what is Reiki?
What is Reiki?
Well, it's a form of energy healing. One of many forms of energy healing, because all energy healing comes from God, comes from the universe, okay? So it's one way to do it, and what we do is, we are called Reiki facilitators, and what we do is we just harness this energy, so to speak. We're like a hollow bone or a vase or something like that, where the energy comes into us, through us, and into the people that we are doing the healing on.
Yeah, the practice of Reiki is to act as a channel for energy. So one of the misconceptions is that when you see a practitioner who does energy healing, that they are doing the healing, and that's not necessarily the case. The case is that they work the energy through them. They use themselves as a vessel or a channel to transfer that energy to you. So essentially they're helping you to establish a connection with divine energy, whether you call that spirit or God or just life force energy. I mean, we go by many names, the energy that's out there. So you don't necessarily have to be religious to follow a Reiki practitioner.
No, it doesn't interfere with your religion in any way.
Not at all.
No, any of your beliefs, your spiritual beliefs, it does not interfere with it. It has nothing to do with that. And if we were the ones who are giving you the healing, we would be drained, because it would take our energy away from us. So we just channel that energy. As a matter of fact, you can all do that.
Right. Everybody can make their own connection to life force energy. But sometimes, like we all know, we need a little help in that department from time to time, and it helps to have somebody who works, we say, like a jumper cable, connecting you to your source. So that is what Reiki is essentially about. It's interesting that some people are just now hearing of it, but it's been around for centuries, and it's becoming very popular currently in hospitals and with hospice and all over the world.
It is. It's really starting to become very popular now.
Yes.
People are realizing.
And we're happy to see.
So between regular physical doctors, to naturopathic doctors, to all kinds of natural supplements and herbs, to energy healing, it all comes together. We can, our dream is to have one day we all work together hand in hand
as a team. You really need a team around
person.
You.
Yeah. You got to heal the total person, not just one part of the person. So what can it be used for? For people, for plants, for animals, various illnesses, for stress, for mental problems, for any kind of psychological problems. It can help you to figure out what is going on with you. It gives you that energy to say, why do I have these problems? Why do I have these illnesses?
Right.
Because it kind of boils down to what way you're thinking, acting, speaking, what's going on in your mind that causes your body to have these illnesses. It comes out on your body,
Right.
So.
And what I like to emphasize is that everything is energy. What we think is matter and what seems very solid to us is actually mostly space. So for those of you who are of the camp of, you have to see it to believe it, remember that you consist of mostly space. If you break yourself down to molecules and atoms, all that's in between is this mysterious space.
Is that why they call me Spacey?
Hey, I get called Spacey Traci.
I know you do.
Don't even go there. But so the whole premise is that the space is what creates the matter. So when you bring your focus and your attention into things, space condenses and it creates matter. So to understand that you can manipulate or you can work with the energy around you to change your life, to change your body, to help you to reduce your stress level, that it's freeing. Then you have a sense of empowerment, that you can make changes in your life.
I know so many people, everyone says the one thing, it's so relaxing.
Yeah.
They feel so relaxed, like they have never relaxed before. Now we have some questions that people have asked us, so we're going to answer them for you. Someone wanted to know, is healing instantaneous? Okay. While some may heal faster than others, it's not always all at once. It may come gradually over a period of time.
It's like we're an onion and we're peeling off the layers.
Right. That's a good analogy.
Unfortunately, not to discourage anybody, but you'll never be a finished product. You're always clearing away, evolving, peeling away layers. So you may heal something, an aspect of your health or your emotions very quickly, but then there's something else to uncover within you. So remember that it's a process, and how long and deep you want to go into that process is how long you should stick with it, because there's always more healing to do.
You really have to work on yourself. What's going on in me? Am I angry? Am I holding a grudge? Am I depressed? Am I treating people not the way I wanted to be treated? Am I doing all these different things? Because sometimes you can get a healing and it'll go away where it's hurting you, but down the road it'll come back again in another place because you never really dealt with the issue that's going on, to cause this problem that you have, whether it's physical or mental or whatever. So,
it's like cleaning your house, that you can clean your house up, but you won't, if you don't change your habits, that it'll get dirty again, so you have to keep clearing, keep cleaning, keep opening.
I use the analogy of a bottle of salad dressing in a glass bottle where you can see through it, and you shake it up. All the good stuff's on the bottom, and all the stuff you start shaking up, and all these things come up.
Yeah.
And that's what the Reiki does for you. Starts to shake it up.
And that's important to recognize too, is that when people start to do energy healing work, a lot comes up emotionally and physically, and sometimes that discourages them from continuing because you might even have something like a flu-like symptom, the week after you've had a Reiki session, and this is also the case with like massage and any other type of body work. And that's because we have energy gets stored in different areas of our body and our energy field, and it gets stuck there and it's trapped there, and it's almost like the rest of us goes around compensating around this block. But when that starts to dissolve and break up, that energy moves around your body, and sometimes it feels like chaos or disruption before things move out, and you feel the healing taking place. So don't get discouraged if you try this out and you feel initially like you're having a setback. It's not a setback. It's just it's a releasing. And that happens emotionally too. Like a lot of stuff might surface up, memories or painful events that you've had. I've
had people on the table where I touched a certain part of their body, because we usually go down all the chakras in the body. And when I got to a certain area, they just burst out crying. And they cried and they cried and they cried. And I'm sorry. I said, don't be sorry. This is a good thing. It's a release. And sometimes it's just in one spot, sometimes it's in more than one spot. I had a woman that cried mostly the whole time, and it was good. It was good. And when she finally settled down at the very end, she was so relaxed, In the beginning, she couldn't even lay down. She was having a hard time. But by the end, she was very relaxed. So no matter what comes up, just let it go and go through it. It's fine.
And everybody's experience is different. Sometimes you may experience nothing. It's a very subtle. It's a very subtle energy. You may feel physically nothing has happened, but then over the course of the week, you notice differences in your attitude or differences in your health, and as you receive more treatments, you open more and more. And I often feel that after the first couple visits, people are so absorbing. They're really taking the energy in. We can sense their chakras opening and taking all that energy.
Sometimes nothing much happens in the beginning,
right?
But as time goes on, it does.
And then everybody has different experiences. Some people feel heat. Some people feel tingling. Some people have light sensations.
They see colors.
They feel floating, like they're floating.
Yep. They see all different kinds of colors. And sometimes what it'll also do as the time goes on is you'll have memories that you had totally forgotten about will pop up. You're realizing some things that you left undone in the past and so forth. So it's just, in so many ways it works for that. Okay.
And just, for clear-headedness, just to have some clarity and relaxation, that's a great benefit. I mean, there's people who come just for the relaxation benefit. There's people who come because they're undergoing cancer treatments, anxiety, if you have high anxiety, or allergies, or autoimmune problems, diabetes. It can be useful in all areas of life.
One thing I would really like to tell you is I get from people from time to time, they have an appointment and they'll call up and say, I just feel too terrible to come. I don't feel good. I feel so bad. I want to wait till I feel better. I said, no, this is when you come.
Just like going to the doctor. You don't cancel your doctor's appointment because you feel lousy.
Yeah, you go because you feel bad. And the same thing here. So
and
remember
that's an opportune time to be processing whatever is happening.
Exactly.
Because there's usually some emotional situation actually there's always an emotional situation underlying the physical problem. The physical problem is just that's like the bell, the warning of, pay attention to this emotional or this thought pattern that's going on.
We used to say first, when something is about to come on to you, first you get a little nudge, you don't pay attention. Then a little bell rings, you don't pay attention, the building falls on you. So that's always told my children that all through life growing up.
Pay attention
they're going, I don't want the building to fall on me, so I better pay attention. Pay attention. Go with that gut feeling. That's the most important thing. If you listen to that gut feeling, always.
And just for health maintenance, I mean, really, optimally, we want to get into like a prevention mode. We don't want to wait till the building's falling or until there's some kind of chronic illness or injury or something along those lines. You want to prevent that. So if you came for a regular treatment, you would actually be preventing colds and illnesses and all of that. So
yeah. They do. Some people, when they've felt that they've worked out certain problems, they will come back, every once in a while just for like a tune-up, and that's fine. And one of the last things I will tell you about, because people have asked us what the chakras are and what is their significance.
Right.
Okay. So go ahead, Traci. I'll let you start that one.
Well, the chakras are. You can learn how to feel them over your body, actually, and I work with some people to just get a sense of what a chakra feels like. But they're positioned about 7 inches apart all the way from the bottom of your spine to the crown of your head. And they are wheels. They're spinning wheels, like vortexes. And the purpose of a chakra is to pull energy in so that your body can take in all that good energy and use it for, the function of your organs and your well-being. But what happens is trauma or emotional situations happen in our lives, and those chakras stop spinning properly, or they get blocked, and then they stop feeding your body what it needs. And this will physically manifest. For instance, if you say that when you were younger, you were told to shut up. You're not allowed to talk. What you have to say isn't important. Some people will manifest that as having difficulty with public speaking as they grow up, or communicating their needs or communicating their emotions. And that is actually it very physically manifests as problems with your throat or your thyroid, and that's your fifth chakra. So each chakra not only helps you with a certain emotional state, it also correlates with different organs in your body. So often people come in, they have chronic stomach problems, or they have migraines all the time. You can pretty much learn over time, what chakra is controlling those physical ailments and what emotions are underlying, and help people work out those emotional underlying problems.
And those are the main ones, the ones that we're pointing to as Tracy was talking. We have them in our hands, we have them in our feet, smaller ones, and different places to their body. And when we're doing the Reiki, we kind of just go with our instincts, what we feel on a spot on the body that we should put our hands on. And it'll be different for everyone, So,
and those of us who've had Reiki attunements, over time you just learn what it feels like when you put your hands over somebody. Sometimes we'll get like a tingling sensation or a dampness or a coldness,
and
you
pain
feel
in my
like
hands.
stagnation. You'll feel vibrations like emanating from somebody. A lot of times we're giving off too much of our personal energy, and that's another thing. We're draining ourselves. So there's not only issues pulling energy in, but there's too much going out. So we work to try and balance that.
All right. So without further ado, we will get to our guests tonight, and each one will tell their story. They've all had Reiki, and they will tell what it did for them, how it affected them, how they felt, and so forth. Okay?
Very good. So our first guest is Mary.
Mary.
And
hi.
Mary, when did you first start to explore alternative healing, and how did you come upon Reiki?
Well, I've been getting body work for at least 25 years, from chiropractic, acupuncture, massage, and I'm a body worker now myself. I am a massage therapist, licensed massage therapist, and Reiki practitioner and reflexologist. And I would say some of the most powerful experiences for me have been definitely the throat chakra for me. And I've also used a lot on my dogs. I have 2 dachshunds, and I had one of them pass away in the spring.
Right.
And about 3 years ago, he was diagnosed with a bone cancer. And basically, I just vowed to do everything healthy instead of doing the regular chemo route. And took him also to another practitioner so that I felt like I wanted someone else also to work on him, to give me an objective, view of what they were feeling and seeing, and it really, really helped him with his anxiety. He was calmer, and I worked on reflexology on his paws, believe it or not, and gave him healthy food. And then he, after 2.5 years, when he really was going and he was passing, one day he woke up like it was the day, and it was a Sunday, and the vets weren't open. So basically I knew he was passing, so I just sat with him most of the day and found myself doing Reiki on him. And when he actually passed, I didn't know what else to do, and I just said, everyone said just be there with him, just be there with him. So I just said a little prayer that God would take him quickly and that he would go peacefully, and I just laid my hands on his body, on his chest and his lower part of the body, and he literally took one big breath and then just passed peacefully like that. So I've had a lot of really good experiences
and
with Reiki.
That's an important point too, is that sometimes Reiki isn't about the healing. Sometimes it's about letting go, and that's why we find it's being used a lot in hospice, because it helps people to pass quickly. It helps them, to move out of this, out of their body and out of this life peacefully.
And I've also used it on my father. He died 3 years ago, and I used it on him, end of life. And I've had 2 brothers pass of cancer. And I've done some work with hospice with the nurses, their retreats that they do, and it's really important in end of life. A lot of chemo medications and things people are on causes a lot of anxiety, and not only everything they're dealing with. And I have really found that Reiki is very powerful. It's just a very relaxing technique. you know, some people are always afraid. Like when I first heard about it, I was afraid, well, what am I going to have? What's going to happen? What's the experience? And I was chicken about what would happen. But actually you feel mostly relaxed. You feel more peaceful. You feel grounded and able to go about your day and more patient with the kids. And so I really have had a lot of benefits from giving and receiving Reiki.
Great.
That's good. And that's a good point to bring up about the animals, because yes, we do Reiki on animals, both of us.
Very powerful.
And I've done it on my animals, and I've done it on for other people, and the animals love it. They're so receptive.
Yeah, there's
more
people
receptive than
that
we
work
are.
on horses
They love
too,
it.
right? Horses and
I work on any animal you want. A
Yeah.
snake, I don't care anything. Fish
Yeah.
in the tank, whatever. They
Yeah,
know
it's
it.
interesting how they respond, because a dog or cat that might be anxious normally seems to calm down like almost immediately, and
yeah.
you could
And
tell
they know
that
just how much
they're
they
responding.
want. When they're done, they walk away. I've had them come over and lick my hands and then walk away, like they're saying thank you, you know.
Yes.
So it's great for the animals. It's really excellent for the animals. They understand. Even for plants,
Yeah,
all
I've heard
plants and
that.
everything, yeah, it helps that too. It helps them. Everything, because we're all energy. That's what we all are. All energy.
Well, thanks, Mary.
Well, Mary, thank you very much. That was very interesting.
You're welcome.
And now this is Lisa.
Hello.
Hello. Lisa is, she's had Reiki. You're not a practitioner or anything like that, but you've had Reiki. So tell us, what made you decide finally to come, and what your experiences were.
Yes. I started receiving Reiki around 2 years ago, and it was in the middle of winter, and I was just in this funk, this doom and gloom kind of a funk. And I had massage therapy, and I wasn't really feeling like I wanted to be handled. I wanted something that was more gentle and that worked with my energy, because I knew that my energy was low. So that's what brought me to Reiki. And what I found, my experience was just really taking that time for me and getting recharged, allowing myself to relax. And what happened over the course of time, I was fairly consistent with my appointments, usually twice a month. And what I found over time was that the benefits that I was receiving during a session, I was able to start to duplicate on my own the same relaxation. So I felt that it was something that my body really needed and responded well to, and was happy with being able to carry over that relaxation.
And that's an interesting thing. I always feel that's important to stress that you need to learn how to do it yourself. Like, not basically, the Reiki involves receiving attunements, but the whole calming your body and relaxing your body and connecting with life force energy can be done, just through some simple techniques if you incorporate them every day into your life.
That's what we try to teach everyone, to do something like that, because you're not going to come for the rest of your life constantly. So teach you how to do it for yourself, and it's come every so often for a tune-up after you've, reached the point where you want to be,
Right.
So, and how did you feel when you have Reiki? What was your feelings when it was being done to you?
Primarily the feelings that I had were just a deep, deep sense of relaxation. I know I had some emotional releases as well. I didn't really have any physical ailments per se. I think it was more just being really overtired and not taking care of myself for years. So what I say I was able to carry it over myself was, my experience would be, I knew I was in a great state of deep relaxation by the colors that I was able to see, so to speak, in my mind. And I was able to do those relaxation techniques on my own, and I knew I was there when I had those colors. Ironically, recently I've stopped not being able to see the colors, so I'm back going to Reiki. And to me that was a wake-up call that you need another adjustment, you need another fine-tunement.
Did it ever help you make any decisions in your life? Which way to go, forward, backward, sideways,
Clarity.
whatever. Did it help you with that?
Yes, and I think that was part of the funk that I was in that winter, is that I was at a crossroads with my career path. I was at a crossroads with my significant relationship, and it gave the Reiki, I think, gave me the space and the clarity to make some decisions and bring closure to things I needed to bring closure to.
That's wonderful. That's really good.
And it's interesting how you bring up the colors, and this is a common experience, not for everyone, but for quite a few clients who come in, where they actually, when they're rested and they're receiving Reiki, they have bright colors, in their mind's eye, flood them, and every color has a different symbolism to it. And when you learn what that symbolism is, you can really redirect your energy. If you need more green for peace and health, well-being, then you surround yourself with that green. If you need purple because it's meditative and relaxing, then you visualize purple. Right.
And depending on where we are touching them at that particular time, that particular color will come up, and it may change on a different chakra, So, color is very important.
Absolutely, and the chakras are like a rainbow, and each chakra has a different color attached to it. And I think they all can pull in every color, but
they can.
There's a primary color.
They have primary colors on it. Yes. So forth.
I even tell people, like with Mary saying that with her throat was a big thing, that's the color blue, like a turquoise blue, and if you could just surround yourself with that color, in your clothing, wear turquoise, or put something in your room that represents water or flow, things like that can actually have a great benefit as well. It's all about vibration.
All right.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Now we have Glossia.
This is Glossia. Hi, Glossia.
Hi.
And we're going to ask you to do the same thing that Lisa did. Tell us about what made you come for Reiki, your experience with it when you were having it, if it helped you make any decisions, how your life went after that, and so forth.
Yeah.
Just take your time.
I start when usually you don't feel well with yourself. I was passing a time feeling very tired, without energy. So something is not going right, and I always find that to approach spirituality, I think, is the answer for many things, because I think everything happens in your inner self, and then we start having problems in our body. Then
Exactly.
That's when I decided something is not going fine, and because the life sometimes hard, you have problems here and there, and you lose energy, so you need to go back to your equilibrium. So this was the reason that I decided to go to have some Reiki, because I know that works energy, and we are energy. And then this was the reason to feel more in harmony, peaceful. And that's the experience that I had. I felt so peaceful. The sense that you feel well with yourself inside, and you see your body responding to that. You feel every day better and better, and your sense become more sensitive to things.
Right, your senses heighten.
Yes.
They do.
And something happened. I want to just tell. I started having Reiki. And then I supposed to go to travel to see my sister in the south. So there was a sense inside of me saying, it's better you don't go this time. And then you start thinking, no, I have to see my sister. I have to go. What I'm thinking, right? And then I went there. When I come back, I don't know what happened, or the energy of the area. I lost a lot of energy. I got sick here.
You feel kind of drained. You were draining.
Yes, drained totally.
And you weren't listening to
your
your
intuition. And I got sick. I thought I got the flu or something. And then I went to the session, feeling tired still. I felt like all the energy moving in my body. And it started the next day. I felt, oh my God, the coughing was gone.
Wow, good.
And then the next day, like I felt kind of, oh my God, I don't feel bad the way I was feeling before. I said, oh my God, this is totally energy flowing through my body.
Wow.
And then was telling me, don't go there this time, maybe next time, but I didn't listen to that.
Yeah.
And then I went there and I said, okay, next time I'm gonna like understand my sense and believe that.
Pay attention to
Pay
that gut feeling.
attention
Yeah.
to the signs, right?
Mhm.
And then I learned a lot of this, and then I realized the Reiki helped me a lot in this
Right.
process, and I felt much better. That's why I keep going, because I feel really relaxing and in peace with my inner self, you know, my divine presence inside of me.
Did it raise your spirituality?
Yes.
It raised
a
your
lot.
spirituality.
And you feel like more peaceful and understand things in a different way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how is it different from conventional ways of healing yourself, your body,
I
and your
felt more
mind?
response with the energy field, because I think the regular doctors don't see you as a whole thing, holistic stuff. They see you as a sickness, a disease, but don't see you with emotional needs,
Right.
spiritual needs, everything.
And all the connections.
Yeah, everything together. I think you'll be so important work with like a lot of professionals to reach all the points in an individual. I think.
Wow.
I think it's very important. And then it'll be perfect medicine. Right?
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, because they do just focus on the one symptom that you have without taking in everything.
Yeah.
And you're right. You're absolutely right. That's why we need to work together.
Yep.
And it's interesting that you mentioned the intuition, how your intuition
Yeah, you
opened
start
up.
feeling more stuff that rationally you think, no, I cannot think like that, but it's your insight coming out. You know, you have to live be, and then you understand more things than only if you use your rationality.
I think people, like you said, with your heightened senses, people become more aware of how their senses are responding to their environment and using those senses, like where we just tend to ignore it or block it or cover it up. We're paying attention to, you know, the cues in our body and the senses that we're feeling and listening. And when you see that you're listening and acting according to how you feel, that your results improve too.
Yes,
Right.
you feel like healing because you understand yourself, right?
Yeah.
You helps a lot.
We're constantly getting impulses all day long.
We have to pay
We're constantly,
attention.
we're constantly getting lessons. We're constantly, you know, being told how to do this way, how to do that way from all our angels, our guides, our teachers, our animals. They're always with us all the time, and they're always, you know, like suppose you walk out of the house one day and you forgot something, and all of a sudden you go to get in the car and you hear, you forgot that. Oh, that's right. And I always go, thank you, and I run back
you
in.
See, you'll be open for
Right.
them.
And if
because
you're
have
once you
the-
open up, and that's the main thing with
Yeah.
Reiki, is to open, to allow, like, not just on a cellular level, but on an energetic level, where we tend to contract, like when we're stressed or we're upset or something bad happens, or even if we're physically ill, your energy pulls in, you get tight. And just like we know, if you tighten up before a fall, you're going to bruise, you're going to pull a muscle, and if we remain open and try to expand our energy, this helps us to not only create more healthy opportunities for ourselves, but also to pull in all kinds of opportunities, because when you're open, you're allowing a greater experience, a wider experience to happen in your life, and you're more sensitive to the possibilities.
And like she said, listen to the gut feeling. It's there. It's always there.
And people think that that's just some metaphysical thing, but your gut, I understand, has more brain cells than your brain, believe it or not.
Right.
It's the second brain, right?
It is your second brain. The cells are identical to the cells in your brain. So if something is going on in your gut and you have that sensation or that pulling feeling that you should or shouldn't do something, listen.
It's everything. It's what you just said. It's all our help that we're getting. It's everything. It's always everything. It's never just one thing. And the Reiki helps you to open up and see that.
Right.
Like you said, perfect. All right. Anything
Thanks.
else? Okay. All right. Now we're going to meet
Moving on. This is Phil.
Phil. And same thing. How did you happen to start coming for Reiki, and how did it affect you, and how's your life now, and so forth and so on?
I started with Reiki because someone else suggested it, I guess, to me, and I was a little skeptical at first, I guess. The person who who does Reiki with me, she's very like soothing, like she helped me like relax a little bit. I was having I guess for me, I was in a spot where I didn't want to. I was really angry, and I didn't like exactly the way I was acting in certain situations and whatnot. And someone suggested that to me, so I figured I'd give it a shot. And I went for Reiki. I don't know exactly what I expected from it. Basically, it was described to me as just a relaxing, something that's very relaxing. After I was going for a little bit, I even after my first session, it really it became pretty spiritual with me. It really did exactly what you described earlier. It helped. It opened up like some past memories that I've had and whatnot. It helped me basically like uncover, like discover things, and helped me. Once I talked about them, it helped me get over some issues that I've had in my past and whatnot. It's changed over the Reiki sessions for me. Have changed over time. Like that, at first that's what was happening. Then a lot of issues came up for me, things that I was able to talk about, and I started feeling better. And it kind of changed into almost like a deep meditation, more on like a deep spiritual level, which I've never had before. It was and it's really for me it's really cool. I usually go every other week, and I don't know, it just it definitely relaxes me and helps me. My family, I guess, has noticed a big difference in me
good.
and whatnot. I think that things take longer for myself to recognize than other people. So, but I could definitely tell a major difference in the past 6 months that I've been going and stuff. So.
Really, that's great. So you resolved some issues, and
Yeah. Even things that I guess I suppressed for a long time.
they came up, right?
Yeah.
Did they surprise you?
No.
When they come up?
I got pretty emotional and stuff, and
And you're a guy, right? So tell
You're
those
not allowed to get
guys they can leave their macho at
Yeah.
home because it's
I didn't need
fine.
tissues. No tissues. But,
I don't know about that.
but yeah, exactly. I was like, all right, fine, tissue. Give me tissue. But yeah, it's just it was like amazing. Like after the first time, even the first time I went, like right after it, I was like, just the things that I totally like. There's two actually particular issues that I totally forgot about that came up, and I was able to talk about them and stuff, and it really it changed me kind of. I don't know. It's it's one I don't know. I'm not a big. I don't do yoga and stuff like that, but for me it works, and that's that's why I keep on going and stuff, So I mean, I've never had any major health issues with that I know of, you know what I mean, like bones or whatever, blood, but I do know that my mental stability is a whole lot better, which makes I think bring the mind and the body will follow type deal.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so that's basically like I'm mentally. I feel like I'm I feel better mentally, and so physically it's like I feel better just all around, you know. So
Excellent.
so yeah.
How about any like physical experiences during a Reiki session? Have you?
I've gotten definitely heat a lot of times, and vibration. Like I've felt like my muscles like twinge and stuff, I guess. I don't know. And definitely colors, and I don't know exactly what that means and stuff, but yeah, it's definitely. So that's cool. Yeah.
Excellent.
And I you know, as a result, like I started meditating a couple months ago and stuff, and it's just like I feel more confident and better with myself. You know what I mean? And I guess I never realized how angry of a person I was until you know, and I've been going for I think about 9 months now, pretty much every other week, and it's really helped me out spiritually, and which is like it's been said. I think, you know, for me I realize that I think that's most important, and I don't know, it's really helped me out a lot. So.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else want to add anything to what they said? Okay. Feel free if you want to say something more. You're welcome to.
Well, I was just saying
something comes up.
how powerful it was what you had said about the innate and getting in contact with yourself spiritually. But the other thing is physically, by getting body work and getting energy work, you get in contact with yourself, and it's an appreciation and a respect for your body. And the beauty that I see is that the more awareness we get, we can better communicate to our doctors and special care people that whatever our issues are, if you're getting body work done or getting your energy work and you're clear and the energy's flowing, you have more ability, I think, from my own experience with my own clients and also receiving, that I can tell someone, oh, you know, my shoulder's not right. Because when you have been balanced and when you get the energy work and you're more aware, then you're able to communicate better to your caregivers. And I think that's really powerful.
And I think too, like when you recognize the signals your body's giving and you understand right away that there's also an emotional component, you start to ask yourself, like, what is the emotional component? What is the lesson here? What do I need to bring up and learn and heal over? And that's important to see that connection.
Right. Now, do you also suggest, you know, like maybe to journal and write things down? I mean, do you also tell your clients some things to do after they receive Reiki? Because when you go home, I find
that's when the processing begins.
When you get home, I don't know if that's the same for you guys, but so I found that really helps me.
Yes, I suggest a lot of different exercises for people depending on, you know, what works best for them. Some people respond to art, like expressing themselves through art. Some people journal. Some people have to do something physical. And this is an interesting thing. A good Reiki practitioner should be able to let you know, like, you know, do you need to be grounded or do you need to be lifted? I mean, some of us are very oriented in the upper chakras where we're overthinking, overstimulated visually and mentally, and we need to do exercises that are more grounding, which is to bring our energy down, to get connected to the earth, to use our hands, to touch things, to be out in nature, to do something physical. Drumming's a good thing, anything with like deep instruments, because some of us are way too floaty and we need to come into our body. And others of us who are feeling like overly grounded and dense and heavy and maybe depressed have to be lifted up. So you know, manipulating that energy is different for everybody, because we're all
I always suggest a lot of, you know, walking in nature.
Yeah.
Because nature gives you energy. And that is a wonderful thing to do. Nice and peaceful and quiet. I'll see them walking in the woods, and, you know, I'll ask questions about that, you know. And I remember a doctor I had who I visualized him drawing, and I said, you should take, you know, my wife just told me that. He said, she just bought me some arts. I said, well, do it. And he did it over a period of time. It really helped him a lot. And there have also been people who are on these, what is it? Not the I can never think of it.
Medications?
For like
Anxiety, depression.
yeah, and they want to get off of it. And I have someone that's coming now, a man, who's been taking this, and he wants to get off it, and he's
of
been
course,
decreasing
just
it and
to,
decreasing it and decreasing
Put a little.
it.
You need to make sure you talk to your doctor about that too.
And he did. He talked to doctor. Doctor said to him, a very wise doctor said, it can only help you.
Right.
He said, so do it and try it and see how it does for you. And then we'll decrease the medication. And that's what he's been doing. So, and then I've had people who, after they've had a Reiki session, they go home and they get tired and they get more. I had someone who had to go out and fell asleep in the car and just fall asleep, and coming home and couldn't keep their eyes open and went to bed and slept all night. And she said, what did you do to me? I was totally wiped out. I said, that is excellent because you were detoxing.
And that's what I mentioned earlier. You may have what feels like a boomerang effect where you feel worse, but that's the releasing of those toxic energies. So ride it out, ride that wave, because usually when it passes, you feel so much better.
Yeah, it's all good. Whether something happens or it doesn't happen, it's all good. It happens now, happens later. But just like you said, ride it out. It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
Lisa, you have something else to tell us. Go ahead.
Yes, I wanted to elaborate on the spiritual piece and how my spirituality also heightened during the Reiki sessions. And I think what happened was the Reiki allowed me to believe in my spiritual guides, that the messages I were getting were messages from my guides and not my imagination. So it allowed me to trust that inner voice, which I don't think would have happened had I not done the Reiki.
Give me goosebumps. That's very nice. I always love it when someone gets in touch with that. It's great.
And a lot of times, because like Rosemary and I, we work with energy, and over time you become a little more intuitive. But that isn't always the purpose of the session. Sometimes Rosemary will pick up on something that someone has experienced in their past and bring that up, or I might pick up on I could tell you've had a hysterectomy because something feels void here, and what are the emotional issues around that. I mean, a lot of times we'll have a little clairvoyance around a situation.
Yeah, sometimes that will happen.
I really find that happens like on an as-needed basis. You really can't go into it expecting to receive this intuitive reading of everything happening, to you emotionally and physically. But it does come up. It comes up so that we can discuss it with you and you can process it and work through it.
I remember one person that I did Reiki with, and I happened to see her body as a pool. And I saw all these beautiful flowers and all these beautiful things. I remember you telling me that you saw that in someone too. All beautiful. You just never know what you're going to see and what's going to happen. And that represented to me her coming more into her spiritual side as she was going on. It was beautiful. I wish she could see in my mind. What I saw. Yeah,
because the images do come up for both the practitioner and the person on the table.
You never know what's going to happen, and whether something does come up or doesn't come up, it's okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes time, because if they are slowed almost to a stop and so forth, then nothing will really move.
And that's why I say don't be, like, if you go for a Reiki session and your first session is uneventful, it's like I said earlier, it's very subtle. It's not some wham bam, you're walking out of there like skipping. It's very subtle, but it's still profound in the long run. And I feel that usually the initial visit is really about trying to open up more. And once you get things opened up, it's like everything can pour right in. And
if it's subtle or if it's profound or whatever happens, it's all good and it's all right. You just never know. So just say, oh, that was too strong. No, that's fine. Whatever's supposed to be will be. Whatever's supposed to happen will happen. You have to trust that. Any more, Lisa?
I think Mary has something.
Okay.
I just thought of also practitioners have told me that if you experience something and if you have something come up, you can just observe it and kind of let it go. You can take note, and that was really helpful to me. Because if you're like an analytical person or you see something, you're like, oh, could even just be a past memory. But I think one of the most freeing things for me in energy work is that you don't have to attach to it. You can say, oh, wow, yeah, that happened, and let it go. And then I find that those things there's a healing that takes place, or it makes it easier.
Yeah, it's like it's rising to the surface just to be released. And it doesn't need to be analyzed necessarily.
Some things will come back, nag you a little bit, and you can look at it a little bit more. And other things you just let float out. That's right. You can remember it has something that happened and just let it go, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then my mom also said that one time she received Reiki one of the first few times, and it wasn't from me, but another practitioner. And she noticed as soon as we went to have some lunch, she was really angry. And she was like, wow, I'm really angry. What's the deal? And she actually almost got a little bit afraid, and I'm like, well, Mom, that's normal. That means it's released, and it was good that it's released, because that means it was in there, you know?
Yeah.
And I think one of the, I don't know if you guys suggest this, but another thing, my mom was seeing someone at that time, like going to a counselor, and and if you have the support as well, I think it's a really good adjunct to what we do, because if things come up, you know, we're not therapists, we're not trained that way. So if things come up for people, you have somebody you can go talk to and help you work through those feelings. I think is a really good side thing if people are open to it.
Right, absolutely. So yeah, you know, one of the things we stress too is it's a non-judgment zone. You know, you walk in, you can say anything, express anything, and there's no judgment.
No. We try to help as much as we can. We look at it from a spiritual point of view as well as a worldly point of view to try to help you with that. But if you have the really deep things come up, like you're right about seeing a therapist, but yeah.
And you know,
If
it's
someone needs it.
right.
Yeah, if they do.
Yeah, and the whole spiritual piece too is interesting, because you know, you start to realize, you're not alone. You know that you have guides and guardians and just this whole pool of energy around you supporting you. And
Always.
what a wonderful feeling it is to feel supported. And two, it's like, you know, you can turn, you know, anytime to spirit, you know, to get what you need. You know that it's there and for the
Exactly.
taking.
That was well put. That was perfect. Yep. Glaucia, you have something else?
I remember something that when you really feel tired, you see that your centers in your body are not flowing well. It's because it's clogged or something. And after the session, you see like you have more energy and doing things that you see like everything is working now.
Right.
And then in the session, I remember that I, without any judgment, I was seeing images of like animals. I don't know if I'm so connected with animals. I love animals. And I started seeing things without thinking why I'm seeing this thing, just observing. It's very interesting that you see what does that mean. You start like thinking about it and find out why they come up to you.
Exactly, because all animals come to you for a reason. And I have this website I go on, Animal Totems, or you can pick up books on it. And tells you if this animal appears into your life, it's for this reason. It tells you all about this is what you need to work on.
Everything
and so forth.
has a vibration.
Yep.
You know, the animals all represent a different types of energies, trees, plants, crystals, stones, the colors, you know, different elements that you can use in your environment. They all can change your mood or your emotions or affect you. And we all know how we feel when we go into certain environments where it feels toxic or people feel angry. You know, that connection is real. That vibration is real. You know, it's not in the imagination.
It's just like what you were telling me when you went to the certain place where you felt the vibrations were low. You felt that it was.
I felt something like sad and not feeling well. It's kind of difficult to explain. I said, I don't feel well here.
Right.
And then you see, I have to leave.
Right. Yeah. You know, we've all probably.
It's a sign.
Yeah. I've had that experience. I'm sure we've all had it in different times. We go somewhere and we feel uncomfortable. We just feel, I don't want to stay here. Something is not.
And I say, like, you know, people and environments can be like allergens where you physically have to remove yourself for a while to build up your immunity. you know,
Yes.
so
Before
to
you
speak,
can-
before
yeah.
you can expose yourself again.
Yeah. So you have to look out for all the things that happen to you. People say sometimes you'll turn on the radio in the morning in your car and you'll hear a song and you'll hear and certain words in the song, and you've been looking for an answer, and all of a sudden there it is, just by these words, you know. Or somebody will say something, or you'll see something on television and a line will come up. Somebody will say something. I know it's happened to me all the time, and I'll go, oh my God, yes, that's
Signs
right.
and-
There's
yeah.
what I've been, you know. Do y'all experience those kinds of things? That's right.
And I think you experience it more when you become more in touch with
Right. That's what
your
Reiki helps you to do.
spirituality.
Right. Anything else, anyone? Come up since you talked?
One thing I wanted to mention was about, I know, Phil, you shared about your anger, and people are very frightened of their anger, and honestly, it's something that we have to work through, because, you know, before anger is depression and apathy, and that's when the body truly shuts down. And a lot of people I find come to us, you know, with depression, and they're afraid to take that step through anger. But anger is energy in motion. You know, it's physically moving. Where depression, it isn't moving. It's stagnation. So you know, don't be afraid of your anger. You know, work with somebody, work with a Reiki practitioner or somebody to help go through that anger, or find a way to channel it in a constructive way, because anger is also passion, and passion can be, you know, the propellant to a new career or a life change, or something really miraculous for you. So don't be afraid to take that step through anger, because you don't want to keep setting back into depression.
That's what Reiki helps you do. Get to the bottom of it.
Right.
Get to the bottom of why you're feeling that way, or why you have this pain or this ache, or what's happening. And that's what it's all for. And a lot of people just keep putting it off and putting it off. And like, I'll do it when I feel better. Don't do that.
Yeah, that's
Do it
important.
now.
It's
This is
important
what's going to
say.
help make your life better. Going to help you to solve your problems as you go along. Much, much better.
Right.
So
So, yeah, don't use the excuse that you don't feel well
Yeah.
enough to come in, right?
I had someone who I did Reiki on one time, and it was quite an experience. Okay, she kind of did a polar flip on me on the table, like her body was one way, but her spirit turned the other way. And then she went back again and so forth. And she said she felt really relaxed, and I ran into her. She didn't come back. Yeah, and she didn't come back, but then she did. I talked to her. She said, that was so good. I mean to come back. I've been meaning to come back, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think we've reached the end of our show.
Yep.
And we want to thank all our
Yes,
wonderful
thank you
guests.
all.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing your experiences with us and our listening audience.
And we're okay. We're
Okay.
going to put our email
Yeah.
address up for your questions. If
Any-
you'd like to email them to us,
Yeah.
you can email to healoutsidethebox@yahoo.com.
Any questions about the show that you'd like to have answered?
And we always share a quote with you for
Yeah.
the evening. So
And the quote for tonight is, in the same way that a human mother might whisper to her sleeping child to please wake up if he wanted to see the rising of a beautiful harvest moon, or a human father might waken his daughter to greet her brother newly come home from a long war, the Father, Mother, Divine Parent is constantly whispering to you in your earth dream. Thank you for joining us.
on our 50th show.
50th golden anniversary.
As you look out through the window to the world you have made, always know you are the vision. See the truth, darkness fade.